Good afternoon. Today I will discuss about stakeholder. A project is successful when it achieves its objectives and meets or exceeds the expectations of the stakeholders. But who are the stakeholders? We have government, employees, customers, suppliers, creditors, community, trade unions, owners, investors. Stakeholders are individuals who either care about or have a vested interest in your project. They are the people who are actively involved with the work of the project or have something to either gain or lose as a result of the project. Take note, key stakeholders can make or break the success of a project, even if all the deliverables are met and the objectives are satisfied. If your key stakeholders aren't happy, nobody is happy. The number of stakeholders that the project managers must deal with ensures that they will have a complex job guiding their project through the life cycle. Problems with any of these members can derail the project. Then the diagram shows that project managers have to deal with people external to the organization as well as the internal environment, certainly more complex than what a manager in an internal environment faces. Just like for an example, suppliers who are late in delivering crucial parts may blow the project schedule. To compound the problem, project managers generally have little or no direct control over any of these individuals. This slide shows the components of project stakeholders. Here are some lists that included in the top management. We have the president, vice presidents, directors, division managers, corporate operating committee, and others. Advantage, you are likely to have top management support. Disadvantage, on the minus side, failure can be quite dramatic and visible to all. Some suggestions in dealing with top managements are: number 1, develop in-depth plans and major milestones that must be approved by top management during the planning and design phases of the project. And second one, ask top management associated with your project for their information, reporting needs and frequency. Then the other one is develop a status reporting methodology to be distributed in a scheduled basis. Then the other one is keep them informed of project risks and potential impacts of all times. And next slide, the project team is made up of those people who dedicated to the project or borrowed on a part-time basis. As project manager, you need to provide first the leadership, then direction, and above all the support of team or the support to the team members as they go about accomplishing their task. Working closely with the team to solve problems can help you learn from the team and build support or rapport. Showing your support for the project team and for each member will help you get their support and cooperation. Then some difficulties you may encounter in dealing with project team members. Because project team members are borrowed and they don't report to you, their priorities may be elsewhere. Then they may be juggling many projects as well as their full-time job and have difficulty meeting deadlines. Personality conflicts may arise. This may be caused by differences in social style or values, or they may be the result of some bad experience when people work together in the past. Then, you may find out about missed deadlines when it is too late to recover. Then, managing project team members requires interpersonal skills. Here are some suggestions that can help. Number 1, involve team members in project planning. Then the second one, arrange to meet privately and informally with each team members, perhaps for lunch or coffee. Be available to hear team members' concerns at any time. Then encourage team members to pitch in and help others when needed. Then complete a project performance review for a team members. Then after the project team, we have the manager. What is the role of a manager? The primary responsible for the task assignments. Then the person who should be informed with project progress. The primary responsibility of your manager is to assign specific tasks to you and should be informed in every development for the project. If things go wrong on a project, It is nice to have an understanding and supportive boss to go to bat for you if necessary. If you support your manager, you can definitely exact his or her support for you. Find out what exactly how your performance will be measured. Then, when unclear about directions, ask for clarification. Develop a reporting schedule that is acceptable to your boss. Then, communicate frequently. Then we have peers. Your relationship with peers can be impeded by inadequate control over peers, then political maneuvering or sabotage, then personality conflicts or technical conflicts, then envy because your peer may have wanted to lead the project, then conflicting instructions from your manager and your peer's manager. To ensure you have cooperation and support from your peers, we have get the support of your project sponsors or top management. Then confront your peer if you notice a behavior that seems dysfunctional. Then be explicit in asking for full support from your peers. Then the last one, establish goals and standards of performance for all the team members. Then we have the resource managers. They are the managers who control the project's resources. Their relationship with the people are especially important. Then the next one is external customers. They are the customers when projects could be marketed to outside the customers. Then we have the government. Project managers have to deal with government regulators and departments. This can include from municipal, provincial, federal to international. Then we have internal customers. Common stumbling blocks with internal customers. We have a lack of clarity about precisely with the customer wants. Then a lack of documentation for what is wanted. Then a lack of knowledge of the customer's organization and operating characteristics. Then unrealistic deadlines, budgets, or specifications requested by the customers. Then hesitancy of the customer to sign off on the project or accept responsibility for the decisions. Then changes in project scope. The following will ensure the meet the needs of the customer. Number 1, we have learn the client organizations, buzzwords, culture, and business. Then the second one, clarify all project requirements and specifications in a written agreement. Then we have specify a change procedures. Then establish the project managers as the focal point of the communications in the project organization. Then we have contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers. There are times when work is farmed out to contractors and subcontractors. This can be a construction management foreman, network consultant, electrician, carpenter, architect, or any who is not an employee. Any number of problems can arise with contractors or subcontractors. We have quality of work, then cost overruns, schedule slippage. It also involves a sophisticated skill set that includes managing the following. Number 1, conflicts. 2, negotiating. And lastly, other interpersonal skills. Politics of projects. Many times, project stakeholders have conflicting interests. It's the project manager's responsibility to understand these conflicts and try to resolve them. It's also the project manager's responsibility to manage stakeholders' expectations. Project managers are somewhat like politicians. On projects, project managers have direct control over very few things. Their ability to influence others, to be a good politicians, may be very important or maybe very important. Here are some steps a good project politician should follow. A good rule: when in doubt, stakeholders' conflicts should always be resolved in a favor of the customer. Assess the environment, identify goals, define the problems. Then we have culture of stakeholders. When project stakeholders do not share a common culture, project management must adapt its organizations and work process to cope with cultural differences. Then we have the 3 major aspects of culture difference that can affect a project. Number 1 is communications, 2 negotiations, 3 decisions making. Then communication is perhaps the most visible manifestation of culture. Language is clearly the greatest barrier to communication. The barrier to communication can influence project execution. The culture influence can create confusion in a project where project stakeholders represent more than one culture. Example of these are culture affects communication in Mumbai, then culture differences between American regions, then we have managing stakeholders. A project can have more than one major stakeholders. An increase in the number of stakeholders adds stress to the project and influences the project's complexity level. In addition to the number of stakeholders and their level of investments, the degree to which the project stakeholders agree or disagree influences the project complexity. A project can have more than one major stakeholders. We have relationship building tips. Take the time to identify all stakeholders before starting a new project. Then begin the process of building strong relationships with each one using the following methods. The first one is analyze stakeholders. Then assess influence. Then understand their expectations. Define success. Keep stakeholders involved. Keep stakeholders informed. These are the basics of building strong stakeholder relationships. Then how to relate to different types of stakeholders. Through stakeholder analysis, managers can gather information on which to build strong relationships. Stakeholders with financial concerns will need to know the potential return of the project's outcomes. No matter what their needs or wants, all stakeholders will respect the project managers who, number 1, is always honest even when telling them something they don't want to hear. Then the second one, takes ownership of the project. Then is predictable and reliable. Then stands by his or her decisions. Then takes accountability for mistakes. Supportive stakeholders are essential to progress success. Tools to help stakeholder management. Lack of stakeholder support resulted to many project decelerators. Steps on how to secure support from stakeholders. First, you must identify who are the stakeholders. Then the second, you need to determine what power they have and what their intentions toward your projects. Then, third, what relationships among stakeholders. This figure below summarizes the options based on now assessment of your stakeholders. Potential for cooperation and potential for threats. Tools to help stakeholder management. Now that you have this information, you can complete a stakeholder analysis template that will help you define your strategies to improve their support. Finally, a key piece of your stakeholder management effort is constant communication to your stakeholders. Using the information development above, you should develop a communications plan that secures your stakeholder supports. The template below can be used. Thank you. Have a nice day.